Welcome to As a Crow Flies Hiking. When it comes to backpacking, I am a ground dweller. That is, I like tents. I came across this company called Col Mountain Tech. They make a really unique design tent slash bivy setup called the Bivouac 1.5. And it all starts with this. It is a trekking pole, sort of, called the Col Mountain Tech Mountain Stick. It does some really unique things, including being the poles on this tent. I'd like to show it to you, so let's go check it out. One of the most unique features about this Bivouac 1.5 bivy tent is this trekking pole. The mountain stick is amazing. First of all, it's a very sturdy and rugged trekking pole. But also, there are additional features that you can find and attachments on the website. I'm using it for the tent, but it does all sorts of other things. Because it has 3 poles that tension in and out and collapse, you can set it up as a tripod, use it for a camera, use it for your binoculars or hunting or all sorts of things. This small pole goes inside the larger pole, and then it slides down into the main pole. And then you simply take the handle and put it back on top. It pushes down, and it has a little metal screw on the side that allows you to tighten it all back together. All right, now that I've got the Col Mountain Tech 1.5 Bivouac set up, I want to show you some of the first impressions of the tent. This is not a full gear review. I'm going to take it out on several trips, but I thought I'd set it up a few times and just kind of look at the unique features. As you can see, a very low profile tent. Comes in at around 2 pounds, maybe a little less, and it sits on a very small platform or footprint. First, you can see the unique design and how the vestibule is on top, but you don't enter the tent through the top. It has a door on the side. This tent comes in at around 4,500 millimeters of water resistance or water pressure, so a very high water resistant tent. It is pulled out by stakes, so it's not freestanding. You have to have a tension on the top and on the bottom. The tent uses the ABS tensioners. I always call them line locks, but tensioners all the way around. The strings come with it, but they are not already attached when you buy the tent, so you simply have to do an overhand knot or the knot of your choice to stake them over the tent stakes. They come with groundhog stake, 12 of these. They're aluminum. They're very sturdy. These are not going to bend. These are really good stakes to have, and it even has a loop on the top so you can pull it out. Now, let me take you around the tent, show you the top, the bottom, and inside to show you kind of the uniqueness of this tent and the design. First, let's look at the top of the tent, which shows the vestibule and an access point to the vestibule from inside. Again, it has these line systems that stake out the tent. You can use 1 or 2 at the top. I use 2 groundhog stakes, 1 for the tension of the trekking pole and 1 for the tension of the vestibule. So you set your tent up, you stake out your vestibule, and then you have your backpack here, and you want to make sure that your backpack stays dry throughout the night. You simply put it in this large vestibule that sits at least a 40-liter pack here, even larger if you need it, in this vestibule. And then you can undo this, zip down the vestibule just like that, and your backpack will stay dry. As you may have noticed, what's really cool about the top of this tent is that you have access to your backpack while you're inside. Here is a zipper that comes up and out. And you can either open this whole area up of the vestibule for a good weather night and have no issues with ventilation going through, or you can zip it up and be bug protected throughout the night there. You can see just how large this vestibule is. Once you pull out both sides and zip it down, you've got plenty of room for all your gear. One other feature that I thought was very unique are these tension cords. From the inside of the tent, you can tension these elastic cords to pull up the bottom to give you more ventilation from the bottom on either side. So the higher you pull it up, the more air that will flow through the bottom, which is unique in a bivy sack because you don't see a lot of ventilation features in a bivy sack. But this is kind of a hybrid between a tent and a bivy sack. Now, before we go inside the tent, let me show you the unique feature in the backside, which the bottom of the tent has a third pole. As you've seen on the trekking pole, inside of that are two carbon fiber shafts, and this is the third one, the smallest one, that holds up the bottom of the tent and tensions out with these ABS tensioners or line locks. You can tighten these or loosen these. It has a loop that goes over the pole and over the tent here to keep it from moving either direction. If you don't use this, you could have the tent kind of swaying on either side. So it's nice to have this loop around the tensioner so you can pull it tight and adjust it as needed. You will see underneath you have a fully ventilated mesh system on the bottom that is the whole back side. This carbon fiber shaft can be loosened or tightened and adjusted as needed for your height on the back side. I did want to show you the back side of the tent because this is double walled. This stake pulls out another rope on the back side that can be tensioned fully down to create ventilation and airflow underneath. And it has a full mesh panel all the way to the top of the tent to the bottom. As you can see underneath here, you have another place for a tent stake if you need it there to pull out. And it has a full mesh all the way from top to bottom that gives you a lot of airflow for this side. 5-6 inches of ventilation on this side, or if you wanted to take a stick and put it underneath here, like a Y stick, and then raise it up even higher, you could get more ventilation if needed. Let me show you the entrance point from the door side. First, it has a elastic cord that goes all the way around the outside of the door and can be pulled tight through this tensioner and create a place so that the water, if raining, could just simply go down the tent. It's really nice that Col Mountain Tech first did this door, but secondly, they did a mesh door inside. So from there, on a good weather night, you can have mesh ventilation all the way through the tent without worrying about any issues of bugs or critters getting in your tent. Then you have access and you can see all around your tent from that door on the outside. Most bivvies just basically sit on your face, but this does have a little area that you can actually almost sit up if needed. But for a bivvy, this is more room than I've ever seen in a bivvy tent. This gives you enough room to actually move around in. But that's not all the room that you have. Look at the room inside the tent. Now, I mentioned from the outside that this has a unique feature. You can actually reach back and open this zipper and gain access to your backpack or whatever items you have there. It is a 1.5 tent, so it has enough room. You could probably put two 20-inch pads in here, which gives you all the room you need to put all your gear inside this bivvy. So I think this tent will actually accommodate somebody who's about 6'9" tall, because I have my feet all the way down at the end, and you can see I'm about 6 foot tall, and I have another 6 or 7 inches above me that I could use to lay in. And you can see all the room on this side. I've got a full arm's length on this side that gives you plenty of room to get all your gear in here if you need it. So I think I mentioned that this tent is 15 denier steel poly on the top and on the bottom, and then it has this mesh, no-seam mesh on this side that gives ventilation on the outside, but then there's also the second wall, which is the outer wall on this side, that is also 15D material. It also comes in at around 4,500 millimeters of water pressure or waterproofness that with the coating should keep you dry in any kind of situation. The Col Mountain Tech 1.5 Bivouac, I think I need to break it all down and go home, but I'm really liking these features. This is just a first impression. I want to take it out on several trips before I give you the full review. and I love tents. So anytime I can see a innovative, unique design of a tent, I love to look at them. So check out Col Tech and all their wonderful features on their website. They're out of Utah, and they have some great products for you to check out if you're into backpacking or hunting. Thank you so much for watching this episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking, and I'll see you on the next adventure.